In this tutorial video, we're going to go through the cut along toolpath in the Vectric Spark software. The purpose of this toolpath is not to cut all the way through the material, but to create markings on the material surface. Using different tool geometries can create different effects when creating cuts with this toolpath. If you are wanting a toolpath that cuts through the material, I would recommend creating a cutout toolpath instead. If you would like more information on the cutout tutorial video, I would recommend watching the tutorial video we have for the cutout toolpath. I'm going to use the vectors you can see here to go through the cut along toolpath. So first we will want to go to the right hand side of the software here. So we are now in the toolpath pane, and we will want to go to the toolpath tab here and go to the cut along toolpath icon here. So now if I click on this icon, as you can see here, it has now opened the cut along toolpath. Now the first option you'll see is the object selection. Currently we have it selected to manual. So this will mean we can manually select the vectors we want to use for this toolpath. You'll also notice if I just click this vector here, it says that there is only one selected object. But if I select both vectors, you can see here now that this has updated to 2. There is also another option here in the object selection, which is the option to select a specific layer. So if you select a specific layer, it will select all the vectors on that layer to create a toolpath for. This can be very handy if you want to apply a toolpath to all vectors on a specific layer. But for this demonstration, we will be using the manual option. And for now, I will just be selecting the square vector here. The next option here in the form is the start depth. Normally, if you are cutting the toolpath from the surface of the material you are using, this would be set to 0. But say for example you were cutting into the bottom of a pocket toolpath you have already cut, you can set a start depth here of the depth of the pocket, so it will start the toolpath at the bottom of the pocket you have created and does not create any air cuts above this. But for this example, as we are cutting it from the material surface, we are going to leave this at 0. And then the next option here is the cut depth. So this is the depth that the tool will cut. So for this example, I will be leaving this at 0.2 inches, which it currently is. Now the next option is the tool we will want to be using. So you can see here currently we have a V-bit tool selected, but if we click on the select option here, we can pick which tool we want to use. For this toolpath, I'm going to be using a bullnose tool. So I'm going to be selecting the 1/8 inch bullnose tool here, and then I can click select. So now we're going to look at the edit option that is also next to the toolpath. So if we click on this option, you can see here that we have all the tool settings here, and we can change them here as well. But this will only change the settings for this toolpath and will not change the settings for this tool in the main tool database. So as you can see here, we currently have the pass depth set to 0.06 inches, which is roughly the radius of the tool we have selected. And as we currently have the cut depth of this toolpath set to 0.2, this means that the toolpath will cut this out in 4 passes. So the first pass will cut at 0.06 inches, then the next pass will cut at 0.12 inches, and then at 0.18 inches, and then the final pass will cut the full depth we have set at 0.2 inches. So we could change this. So instead of cutting 0.06 inches, it could cut a pass depth of 0.1 inches instead, which means it will reduce the passes the tool will make from 4 down to 2, as it will now do one pass at 0.1 inches, and then the last pass at 0.2 inches. Please note, you would need to make sure when increasing the pass depth of a tool that you are able to do this with the tool and material you are using. So now that I've edited the pass depth, I can click done. The next option we're going to look at is the machine vectors option, and this will tell the tool where to cut along the vector. So Currently we have the outside right option selected, so this means that the tool will cut along the outside edge of the selected vector. So if we click calculate now, we can see what type of toolpath this will create. So now you can see that we've gone into the preview toolpath tab, and now if we show the vectors option here in the 3D view, you can see here that the toolpath is running along the outside of the vector we have selected, and it is also cutting it in 2 passes as we had selected the 0.1 inches for each pass. And if we run this toolpath preview, you can see that it is cutting along the outer edge of the selected vector. So now I'm going to go back into the Create Toolpath tab, and I'm going to make the toolpath visible, as it is currently not visible, by clicking on the eye icon here next to the toolpath. And you can see here that currently the toolpath is represented by a line. Now if we go up to these options in the left hand corner here, you can see that we have the toolpaths option here, and if we click this on and off, it will hide and show the toolpaths that we have visible. And then we can also change how the toolpaths appear. So at the moment we just have a line representing the center of the tool and where it will cut. And if we click on this again, you can see now that we have a thicker line which now represents the total cutting diameter of the tool, and this is a really good way to check where the toolpath will cut. You can also see this if we go into the 2D view as well. So if I double click on the toolpath, using the toolpath view we currently have selected, we can see how the other options in the machine vectors will cut. So if we select the inside option instead, now if we hold down the command key when we select calculate, it will refresh the toolpath but keep us in the toolpath form. So I'm going to hold down the command, click calculate, and you can see here now by that blue line that we are now cutting on the inside of the vector. And again, if I select the on option and hold down the command key and click calculate, you can see now that the toolpath is cutting along the vector, so the center of the tool is now cutting along where that vector line is. Now if I create a single line open vector up here, we can have a little look how these different options are created using a single line vector instead. So if I go back to the outside right option so we can see what type of toolpath this will create on an open vector. So to know which side of the vector is the right side, you will need to imagine that you're standing on the start point, which is represented by this black square here. And it'll be calculated along the right side as if you were looking down the vector from the start point. So if I click calculate here, you can see here, if we imagine we're stood here, we can see that it's created on the right side of the line. And again, if we select the inside left and put calculate, you can see now that it's created on the left side of the line if we are stood at that start point. And again, if we select on the line, this is just creating the toolpath along the center of that line. So I'm going to remove that vector as we no longer need it. The next thing we're going to look at is if we select 2 vectors when one vector is inside the other. We're going to use these vectors as an example, and we have the square vector on the outside and then the circle vector on the inside. And we're going to select the outside right option again and click calculate. And you can see here that on the square vector on the outside, it is cutting on the outside of the vector, which is correct as this is the option we have selected. But as you can see, as the circle is inside the square vector we selected, it is actually cutting this vector on the inside instead. So it sees this as one part, so it is seeing the inside of this vector as the outside of the part and where it will need to cut. And again, if we select the inside option and calculate this, you can see that it has done the opposite. So it's cut on the inside of the square vector and the outside of the circle vector that is inside of the square vector. And again, if we select the on option, it will just calculate the vector on both of the vectors. So the next option you can see is the cutter direction, and we have the option for climb or conventional, and this will be the direction in which the tool will cut. This is down to the way the cutting teeth on the tool engages with the material and the way that the chips are removed and deposited. There are plenty of discussions on this and when to use each option, as one may give you a better finish than the other. But the best advice we can give you is to run test cuts to see which option gives you the cleanest cut for the toolpath you are trying to create. So you can see the next section here, it's showing us the safe Z that has been set in this project. This cannot be changed here. If you would like to change the safe Z position, you'd need to go back into the material setup in the toolpath pane. It also shows you the home position as well for this project. And again, this can only be changed in the material setup as well. And then the last section in the form is the toolpath name. If you want to change the name of this toolpath in the toolpath list, you can change this here. So next we're going to have a little look at how using different tool geometries can create different effects when using this toolpath. As we no longer need to see a preview of where the toolpath will cut, I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to select the outside vector, and I'm going to select a larger bullnose tool with a 0.1 inch cutting depth and click calculate. And then I'm going to go back into the Create Toolpath tab and create a new cut along toolpath. And this time I'm going to select a V-bit tool and click select. And I'm also going to select the circle vector for the V-bit tool as well. And I'm going to click calculate here. And now I'm going to run a toolpath preview of these toolpaths. And as you can see here, each tool has a slightly different effect when used to cut out the vector. You can see here that the bullnose tool that we used has created a curved bottom to the cut, and we can see here that the V-bit tool has created a chamfered cut, and this could be helpful when creating a project to add decorative cuts and effects to your project. I hope you found this tutorial video helpful going through the cut along toolpath in the Vectric Spark software.